Be a man is not there. Yeah, that's what it is. To be a man is not there. Yeah, that's what it is. What can you say? What can you say? What can you say? What can you say? What can you to be a man is not there. Yeah, that's what it is. To be a man is not there. Yeah, that's what it is. My friend, they say you know there. I ask them where you go. You must look for God. I beg to fall. When they tell me to fall, I feel my friend. I will not to let go. You see, when they get this element, I see my friend here. Cannot tell you. Okay, go. Cannot tell me, say. Okay, say. Okay, say. Okay, say. Are you okay? It's never happened yet. But just then we love. I want the guys in China. I want the guys in America. I want the men in London. You said it there. Walk away. To be a man is not there. Yeah, that's what it is. To be a man is not there. Yeah, that's what it Woo! Hey! Yes! Wow. Where can I start? How can I start? What should I start with? Wow, this is amazing. Let me start with reading what the family members are saying. Oh
2K. Adeyale said, wow. Jane Aika's mommy and the barrier, you danced is too much. Wow, it's a how are you doing? It's we're doing well. Let's go and take my dancing shoe. That is my sweetheart Rachel. Okay, so I will go straight into the topic of today. And as you can see on the screen, tonight we are going to be looking at the boy child, cum the male folk. Yes, the reason for this topic is because on Thursday last, the international community, celebrated the Boy Child's Day. Yes, Thursday, the 16th of May, was the International Day for the Boy Child. And as usual, IOM family, I will say, James Bond, please can you be steady because you're moving. Please try and be steady. I know it's not easy for you. So we IOM family.
Give me 2 minutes. Let me adjust my seat.
Okay. All right. Sorry, family. I have cough, but the show goes on. Yeah, the one of our speakers said to give him few minutes, so we allow him few minutes to adjust himself. Yes, on the screen with us today is your one and only IOM professor, resource person, our chief resource person, Professor Dr. Temi Tope. That is him on the screen. The family loves you. Can you unmute and say hello to the family? Let me see what the family are saying. Oh, they're saying sorry. Thank you, Gideon. Yeah, Dr. Temi Tope. Yeah, happy Sunday. Yeah, they're greeting. Nice to see nurse. And the burial is a week today. Wow, fantastic. Thank you, Jane, for letting us know. Amazing. Welcome our able Dr. Temitope. Fantastic. So quickly, we want to go back to say, today we are looking at the boy child. The boy child. We are joining the international community to talk about the boy child. Our special guest of honor is Justin. We just called him very short time notice and he said yes. So when he finishes to adjust, we will let you see him and introduce him as well. But before we go into introducing our special speaker, I want to say to you guys that today we will be looking at the birth of the boy child. Yes, we'll look at the birth of the boy child, nature versus nurture. Yes, we'll be looking at nature versus nurture. We will also be looking at societal expectations of the boy child, and we will look at the current attitude of the boy child of today, and as well as the male folk as well. So right now, we will be introducing our honorable speaker. Yes, our honorable speaker is called Bond. His name is Chief Bond Onuchi. Chief Bond Onuchi, I call him James Bond. He's a former governorship aspirant. Yes, a one-time governorship aspirant of Abia State. And he's still waiting for the seat because he is a very good politician. He's also a hydrogeologist and a manufacturer of all this solar pump, solar disc, TV, and anything to do with solar power system. Yes. So I will be bringing him up to the screen. The network is not really serving him well. Yes, that is our Chief Bond or James Bond. Please, family, can you welcome him whilst his camera and network is getting stable? Welcome, sir. Yes. Wow, you're highly welcome, sir. Yes, IOM family. Oh, Mona Lisa is tagging. So, James, oh gosh, his network is not really good, but that is fine. So, what are we doing? Why he is trying? Why our speaker is trying to adjust his camera? I want to say to you that this topic today that we are going to be looking at, it was quite difficult to agree when we were deliberating, the admin team, when we are deliberating on this topic to deliberate on the boy child. It was a sensitive topic. You know yourself that all the admin teams are all men, yet they were very sensitive. They were like, let it not appear as if we are trying to ginger some men to be arrogant men. Or let's be sensitive about the issues of the woman. Let's be sensitive about girls. You see, when we were talking, they are all men. I am the only woman. And yet, when we are trying to project the need to talk about boys, some, just very one or thereabouts, was like, we need to be sensitive about girls, about women, and we also need to be careful not to empower the powerful men. And I want to say, family, we have millions of movements that are representing the girl child. Anywhere you go on earth, you see a movement for the girl child, a movement for mothers, movement for female, and yet it is so difficult. Even this Thursday last week was the International Day for the Boy Child. It was not as celebrated as that of the girl child. That because why is because people are worried. Oh my God, boys have it all, and they are so insensitive to the issues that concerns men. That is why IOM family tonight are asking, what about the boys? Tonight, the question is, what about the boys? We need to know how to raise a nation of good men. We all have boys around us in one way or the other. Either you have a boyfriend, a male husband, a boy son, a boy neighbor, teacher. The president is a male. Yet we don't want to talk about the men. And yet women complain about men, bullying, rape, this, that. Yet we don't think it's fit to talk about the men. Truth be told, family, truth be told, if we educate our sons, if we talk about boys, if we start to educate our boys, we will not need to protect the girls. I repeat, if we educated our boy child, if we talk about the issues and the vulnerability of the boys, we will not have this problem and complaints about rape, abuse, bullying, and what have you. Gender-based violence, gender issues, everything focuses on the women. However, tonight, IOM family are joining the world to talk about the issues, to redirect the focus on the vulnerability of the boy child. This is crucial because statistics have shown that boys too are struggling. Boys too are struggling. Boys need support. Boys need guidance more than ever before. If you look at statistics, very high percentage of boys are dropping out of school. Lower grades are for boys than girls. Girls have more grades than boys. Boys are struggling with having higher grades. They develop addiction. Boys, if you look at pornography issues, if you look at unsafe sex, unhealthy sexual behavior, abuse of substance abuse, if you look at a lot of criminal issues, you will see the percentage is higher on our boys than girls. Yet, all the issues, all the protests, all the movement, all the support are given to girls than boys. Why? Again, if you look at mental or physical issues, you will see that most men are diagnosed with substance abuse. Most men commit suicide two times more suicide victims more than girls. And when you look at, they are treated for more attention deficit disorder. Men suffer more from attention deficit disorder more than girls. And statistics continue to show growing movement for our girl child than boys. And the boy movement, even where we have one, no one wants to talk about it. Yet we complain of rape. We complain, oh, knife stabbing by men. Oh, gun crime by men. Oh, armed robbery by men. If you go to prison, our boys are mostly in prison. Male folks are more in prison than the female folks. Yet, we are struggling to talk about the boys. Tonight, I want IOM family, each of us, we need to look for one area, one boy child. Is it your son? It's okay. Is it your neighbor's son? It's fine. Is it a son in the school? Any boy child, IOM family, can you make a difference in a boy's child's life tonight? After the talk show tonight, I want you to go with the intention of making an impact on a boy child in the society. Therefore, we will all go home to say, you see, my son, I will help him to avoid substance abuse. I will help him to ensure there is no rape of a woman. I will help him to ensure he completes his education. I need us to have an impact on a boy child tonight. Each and every one of you, male or female, we must impact on our boy child. On that note, I can see our Chris Bond or James Bond is back. We will now have to start the show. So I want to quickly engage IOM family. Quickly, just 1 minute. I want us to, oh my God, I may have to call Chris Bond because he's struggling a lot with his network. Chris Bond is a very powerful speaker. We cannot let him go this night. So let's engage in a quick breaking of the myth. So I want to ask family, when you see a doll baby, what comes to mind, girl or boy? Doll baby, quickly. So we start the show. We will not last for more than an hour tonight. So when you see a doll baby, what image comes to mind, girl or boy? What image comes to mind? Mona Lisa said girl, fantastic. Unuibu said girl, fantastic. Khadija said girl, absolutely. Chidroke said boy. Chidroke, I want us to be real. I don't want you to talk about what should be. I want you to be honest with us. Be honest with us. When you see a doll baby, what image comes to I'm sorry, the network is bad. Sweet mother, I love you. Yes. So a lot of families say girl, and that is true. Now, quickly. Second, when you see an image of a toy gun, be honest with me. We need to be honest here. What image comes to mind? Boy or girl? When you see an image of a toy gun, when you're going to buy a toy gun, who do you think about? Oluwakemi say boy. Chijoke say boy. Lucia said boy. Obonangozi said boy. Gideon said boy. Fantastic. You guys are honest. Now, when you see someone crying, when you hear crying, what image comes to mind? When you hear crying, what image comes to mind? When someone is crying, what image comes to mind? When you see someone crying, what girl, correct? Let's be honest, that is what we see. What image comes to mind? Baba, we are happy to see you. Now, Princess Pioneer Admin says girl. Esther says girl. Duchess says girl. Okay. Oh, Treasure is back. Treasure, welcome back. Yes. Ogochi, my girl, says girl. Fantastic. Okay. Bond is still struggling with network. Now, lastly, when you see people fighting, when you say someone is fighting, what image comes to mind? What image comes to mind? When you hear that there are two people fighting, what image comes to mind? Chibweze said, boy, true, true. Mona Lisa said, boy, true, true. Princess said, boy, fantastic, and that is true. Boy, yes. Boy, Khadija, yes, that is true. Foster say boy, absolutely, that is true. Boys and fight now, 5 and 6. that is true. So when you see an image of, or when you hear that people are fighting, you think boys. True. When you hear of knife crime, someone stabs someone, a knife crime, what image comes to mind? What image comes to mind when you hear of knife crime? What image comes to mind? Blah say boys, correct, true, whether it's true or not. Elias to say boy, Mona Lisa say boys. Ura Lami is saying, I don't know what SMI means. Efosa say boys. Chinazan say boys, so true. So let's ask the last question. The last question. Family, can you tell us how many percentage of boys grew up without fathers? In this world, or in Nigeria, wherever you are, wherever country you are, how many percentage of boys grow up without fathers? Now is in percentage. How many percentage of boys grow up without their fathers? Can you just say 89%? Patience says 60%. Patience says 60%. Patience says 60% again. I'm looking. CJ, this is the admin, say 40%. Treasure said 90%. Adekemi said 78%. I better rest my case. The speakers are hungry. They are really hungry. They want to speak. So I will start by Dr. Chief Bond. When we were introducing you, your network was fluctuating. So the house have welcomed you. Do you want to say hello to the house? Anything you want to say? Yeah.
Hello, in our Mind Talk Show. I appreciate you. And I feel honored to be in your midst today to discuss this important topic. I appreciate my co-discussant, the professor. I'm so honored to have you here. When next you're in Enugu, be sure that under 24 hours notification, I owe you a keg of palm wine.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. So Chris Bond is a one-time resource.
Going straight to the topic now that I have the opportunity of network to discuss the matter. The statistics against the men are true, or largely so. But the point is, what is the driving factor? What drives the male? What drives the boy to be aggressive? To want to settle their issues with the fist of fury, to grow up without their fathers. I'll be very brutal, very brutally frank on this show, no painting of words. Women drive the men. The entirety of the money that the man wants to make, especially as a boy, is to impress his girlfriend, the female folk, and be a big boy. It doesn't matter if he commits crime to do it. For the mature men, married ones, the entirety of the money they are looking for is not even for their personal enjoyment. It is to take care of family and be seen as a responsible man and be respected in the family as a responsible man. So the man finds himself constantly in a war for the benefit of others, forgetting himself, only to be abandoned at old age when he's frail and can no longer help himself. So, like I've always said, at birth, immediately at birth, the boy child has already been born with 0-2 in the game. His football game of birth is 0-2 already against him. So his life is battling to equalize and maybe win the match.
Thank you very much. Do
For
you
the
have more?
women, for the men who grow up without their fathers, some of the blame go to their implacable mothers who do not understand the end game of bitterness. You are bitter with a man and you're preventing him from seeing his children, especially his male children. You're interested in using the male children to play politics later in life. It is not the man you're punishing, it is the child that you're punishing. The greater damage will be to the psyche of that child. For example, in the Western world now, where you people live, the women are married to the system than to their husbands. A little thing you do, you are thrown out of the house, given stringent conditions. And before you know it, you're screwed out of your children's life. You may not even need to do anything. Just a mere allegation. I feel threatened by the presence of this man. And you're out of the picture. That was what happened to Lubumi, the guy that the British system just convicted last week for 27 years. And he was frustrated to the point of murdering his wife. By the time the police, I appeal to the society and to our girls and our women is that they should help the men by reducing the pressure on them in this life. I also appeal to the men to remember themselves in the battle to take care of others. Our Lord Jesus Christ said, there's a new commandment I give you. Love thy neighbor as thyself. The men must begin to love themselves so that they will be able to know how to love other people. They are busy killing themselves to show love to others. They might go to hell for disobeying the word of Christ. They should be able to love themselves and then have an understanding of what it means to actually love others and not to go and commit suicide for that. So the male folks are going through a lot. And the politicians and managers of the society, to the academicians, appeal that we begin to readjust certain things in the system so that the male, okay, for example, it was International Day of the Male Child. Tell me, it lacked publicity all over the world. There was no major media blaring of. Almost all the presidents of the world will be coerced into doing one sign or the other in support, in solidarity. Tell me which government that shows solidarity to the male child on that day it was celebrated. None, to the best of my knowledge. So the male child is in deep problem. Societal, natural, etc. And he has to rise up and begin to
Okay. I think James Bond, aka Chris Bond, or Chris Bond, aka James Bond, is struggling with network. While we wait for him to come back, he's a great speaker, trust me, he's strong. Whilst we wait for him to come back, I want to come to you, Dr. Temitope. You heard him loud and clear. James Bond said that a man is born 2-0 from birth, and he continues to fight to either equate or overtake or win. I want to ask you, Dr. Temitope, I agree and disagree with some of his analysis. We all have our perception and our reasons. I agree that men are vulnerable too. Trust me. And he said one of the questions he asked is the International Day for the Male Child. What publicity was given? And yes, for me to come and discuss this topic, there was concern. Oh my God. And that is what you see all over the world. And that is what he picked on. Now, my question to you, Dr. Temitope, James Bond, Chris Bond, laid accusation on women being the cause of the issues of the man. And I want to ask you, what think you before I ask another question? Because traditional leaders, religious leaders, presidents of the country, school teachers, a whole lot of leadership are majorly men-dominated, male-dominated. Yet, women are blamed for anything that has to do with the man. What say you?
In our mind, always in my mind. My destiny is in my hand. I have great joy tonight to celebrate Nos Angel, to celebrate in our Mind Talk Show, to celebrate our audience listening from all over Africa, Europe, Asia, and America, and every part of the world. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. And to my co-discussant, Sir James Bond. Sir Bond is great, he's noble, he speaks very great. And I always want to remind every member of the audience to know I'm a classroom teacher with a difference. And the first thing I would like to say is, for those of us listening, in the present world, when you are asked to make a statement, be certain that what you're saying is true. And there is knowledge. So knowledge is true, and what is true must be a knowledge. And for anything to be a knowledge beyond the truth, it must be valid. It must be such that you can verify its authenticity. So the question is, what's the percentage of the boys raised without the fathers? And you're mentioning numbers. Now the question is, how valid are those numbers? What is your source? So for me as a teacher in the classroom, I want to contest those numbers you raised. Okay, if you don't have a specific reference, it's better you just stand anonymous and just say you are assuming, you're guessing, and you could reduce the number of guesses. So to the question again, do I consent? Do I concur? Do I agree to the fact that one of the factors, debilitating factors, negative factors, that is responsible for certain male, very poor presentations or projections within the society is the female, in due that you want to take care of the female. Most of the resources you search out for, you spend them on women. That also may not be absolutely true, except for me, if he's having a data bank he's making a reference to. But you see, you cannot undermine what knowledge can help you to get. Knowledge teaches you that whatever it is that you are saying, it should be premised on science. From the biological perspective, there are certain hormones that are being the female, and by nature, all right, you will see the differential. For the you have the progesterone, the PG2 alpha, all right, you have the luteinizing hormone, and between these hormones in relation to some of their. When you come to the male, of course, you have the testosterone responsible for some of the masculinity. So you see, this is knowledge characteristics that male exhibits is on that tendencies. If you listen to the way Cicero Lombroso, he is of the opinion too that when you begin to look beyond these biological concepts and you want to relate it again to certain social vices, all right, you tend to say a male will exhibit certain social deviating, attitude because he possesses extra chromosomal genes, or let's say genes or materials. And as such, you talked about the XX for the female, that is triple XXS, and the XYY for the male. This is knowledge based. Now let's also come to the sociological perspectives now properly. Sociologically, there are theories you can bank on that is responsible. Look at the Marxist theory, all right? What the Marxists, premised on the works of Karl Marx, and which also form some of the maxims of the Marxists, okay, is the fact that there are economic factors too that is responsible for some of these drives, to a material dialectics. You could do so many things at the expense of wealth and materialism. If you listen to the works of the feminists, all right, the feminist perspectives too, you have the first wave, the second wave, the third wave, and the fourth wave feminism, or feminist, arguments, okay, gender, the issue of patriarchy. So these are factors that are responsible for some of our projections within the social space. I need to pause here because some of the questions will actually elicit more responses. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much, Dr. Temitope. So because Chris Bond was having issues with the internet, I had to call him on the phone. I muted myself, that's why you saw me on the phone, to make sure Chris Bond is listening. Chris Bond has spoken very, very well. But part of what Chris Bond said is that, yes, as long he agrees with the statistics in the sense that more men are committing crime, more men are doing this and that. However, he wants to lay the blame on the women, and rightly he has his reasons for doing so. Chris Bond, you are on the phone. I want to say this to you, and it's more like a question to you. I heard you. I heard you say all men are struggling to gain is to impress the woman. We hear you. You said all the issues they are battling for, money making, fighting, is to impress the women. We hear you. But I don't know where impressing a woman is the fault of the woman. But that is different. Now, I want to say to you, Chris Bond, tradition, religion, culture has a strong impact in the definition of masculinity and the societal expectation of boys. I repeat, there is nowhere I mention woman at all. I say tradition, religion, and culture have a strong impact in defining masculinity and societal expectation of boys. And this is evident in both fathers and mothers raising their boy children different from girls. For instance, you hear them say, boys should not cry. It shows weakness, and girls are allowed to cry. You hear them say, boys must be strong, must be tough, must be dominating. Boys should not show pain. Boys should not fear. Boys should not show an emotion of crying, but can be angry. Boys can be aggressive. They say boys are in charge of girls. Boys are superior to girls. Boys are stronger than girls. Girls are weaker. Boys are of more value. Boys, in fact, the worst aspect of it is that they say women are objects, properties of the men, even sexual objects. Yet we are surprised. Oh, this woman was raped by a man. We are shocked. Oh, this man is dominating and beating up his wife. We are shocked. But the training, the expectation, be strong, be hard, be tough, don't cry. All these things are you breeding a society of warriors, of fighters, of abusers. Yet you're blaming the woman. What do you have to say, Chris Bond?
Thank you very much, Madam Hostess. You did not ask me a question. You were defending from...
from what you said.
Hold on. What you ended up... You started off by saying you were going to ask me a question.
Yes.
But you ended up making a feminist defense.
Okay.
In the Nigerian context of feminism. Nigerians understand some of these concepts upside down. You see? Let me throw you a little challenge.
Okay.
Go to a place where they keep social deviants, like a reformatory, or even the prison, or where they are receiving psychological care, therapies. Try and conduct a survey about the real reason why the men showed deviant behaviors. All right?
Yeah.
I'm talking practical here.
Yes.
Then we will use the result in our next show.
Fantastic.
So that you know whether I'm not accusing the women. No. There's only one accusation I made against some women. Some women who choose to marry the systems in the West instead of their husbands.
Okay.
Some women, even here in Africa, who play politics with their children against their husbands.
Okay.
Thereby damaging the psychological health of those children who are used as pawns in the game of wit between two fighting adults. I'm not saying all women. I have a mother, I have sisters, I have daughters. They will not all behave the same. I am a man. I'm not violent. I've never hit a woman. But I can assure you, over 80% of why I'm struggling to make money is to take care of family. You said it could be religious, it could be biological, it could be this, it could be that. Why is it so?
Thank you. Thank you.
Why is pressure on the men that way?
Thank you.
Even if you go to the Bible, where they were assigning roles in the Bible, you will see that the man was assigned certain roles. Some religions also, some other religious sects also do the same thing. Yeah, I do not subscribe to men dominating the women or being violent to women. No, like I said, I have a mother, I have sisters, I have daughters.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have granddaughters, and I want to leave them in a better world.
Fantastic. Thank you.
So I subscribe to it.
I also do not behave so. I am not a social deviant. Never been.
Fantastic.
But I'm telling you something else. I'm throwing this challenge again.
Yes.
Forget about all these theories of centuries and decades ago. Right now, go and conduct a modern research in this area. Ask the men why they did what they did. Come
Okay. James Bond. I will ask you to pause a little for me because we'll definitely come back to you. There are two important things you said. And I want to say to the house, apologies. This is not turning from the boy child to men versus women. It's not the intention. But this topic, from what we are seeing, we'll have to take it to the next week. We wanted to treat it quickly today and go to another topic, but the way it is coming up, we will definitely be having a part 2 where we will focus more on the boy. And we allow Chris Bond to come up with a wonderful question he has asked. And I want to say, I appreciate and I accept the fact that from your analysis, which you said practical, that the boys do what they do because they want to impress the girls. There was never a time I said it's wrong or not correct. I said that is their choice. And that no one is telling, like, I'm a girl. I'm not doing anything to impress the boy. I'm doing everything to, maintain the start, take care of myself and the children and other people. I'm not impressing no man. But you have said, as a man, practically, from your analysis, that men, all they do is to impress the woman. How is that the woman's fault? And I asked, which you said I was defending from feminism. And
the point of correction, Madam Hostess, I didn't say all they do. I said almost everything they do.
Fantastic.
So
Okay. Let's say some of what they do, just to be on a safe side, is
most, not some.
Most, to use your term correctly, most of what the men do is to impress the woman. But that is different from what we are talking about. Chris Bond.
It's not different. That is the foundation of what we are talking about.
Okay. Chris Bond. It is not different. I agree with you. I agree with you. It is not
the foundation of this social deviating
behavioral
patterns that we are discussing today.
My question to you now is, Chris Bond, these men that mostly do what you just analyzed to impress the woman, who asked them to do that?
Nature, nurture, religious indoctrination, societal.
Fantastic. And I'm so happy because earlier on, I thought from what you said, not that I thought, I heard you say it's the fault of the woman. And that was what made us to a kind of readjust the sitting position. But I'm happy that you said, I asked you, Dr. Chris Bond, I asked you directly, who asked them to do that? And from being the fault of the woman is now nature, nurture, religion, tradition, culture, which is exactly what I said. And you said I was speaking from the premise of feminism. Because as you...
I have another question from you, rather.
Okay, go on, sir. Dr. Temitope, be listening and be getting ready to come in. Go on, Chris Bond.
If you do a sample of our young women today between the ages of 20-22 to 45-50 years who are looking to go into relationship.
Fantastic.
Do a random sampling of their opinion. They will tell you, most of them, over 80% of them, will tell you what they're expecting in the relationship, which is that the man should take care of them. That they will not suffer in their father's houses and come and suffer in the hands of a man.
Fantastic. Thank you.
From,
You are you.
No, don't shut me down.
No, you're speaking my mind. You're speaking. I will never
why,
shut you down. Continue.
I want to let you know why women will not be exonerated from the blame totally. Because you put me on the spot here. I know I'm on a global TV station. And I'm saying, do a random sampling of the expectations of this lady. They are all expecting to get into relationship with men that are established, that have the economic means to take care of them.
Fantastic.
Now, that expectation as a social function puts pressure on the men folks to rise above the ordinary and be, in parentheses, the man. Let's not run away from facts here.
Fantastic.
I'm challenging you to do a random sampling. And if I'm wrong, write an apology to your studio.
You see, our studio. Chris Bond, remember, this is not your first time of commenting our Mind Talk show. When we started earlier on, you were part of our resource persons. So you are part of our Mind Talk show. So it's our studio. Yes, Chris Bond, I must say this to you. You are speaking my mind. And I'm happy you're talking. This is exactly why we need to advocate for men. If you had listened, because your network was playing up, I said that number one, part of what we are discussing tonight is societal expectation of the men, of the boy, of the male folk. And now you said, and I agree, in some extent, that women, generally speaking, or so percentage as you gave, I don't know where it came from, but generally speaking, woman is trained to be dependent on the woman. And our question is, why is that the case? Because I have 2 hands, I have 2 legs, I'm capable, mentally capable. I'm coming, Chris Bond. I'm coming because you are. Sorry?
It is also part of the societal pressure, religious pressure.
Thank you! You are just speaking my language. Yes.
Where the society and even at the family level, the parents try to convince the woman to think in that manner.
Hello?
And they bring up these things into the larger society when they are grown adults.
Thank you. So, Chris Bond.
And things put pressure on the male child. Fantastic. Like you said, we need to advocate for the men. Who will bail this car?
Fantastic.
Who will help the men?
Fantastic. Chris Bond.
I'll give you statistics.
Before you go to another statistics, can you wait? Let's treat these statistics.
Go and do a random sampling on obituary announcement. How many are survived by their husband and children? How many are survived by their wife?
Fantastic. Thank you. Chris Bond, the good thing here is that the end result, we are all speaking from one umbrella. We are all using one umbrella, which is religion, tradition, government, families, societal expectation of the boy child. That's why I readjusted when you wanted to lay blame on the woman. I refuse firmly to accept that because I asked, who is the leader? Who has always led? Who are the writers of the Bible? I have never seen a female written a book in the Bible. I never seen a female written a book in the Quran. I have never. It's just nowadays with all the movement. 1 minute.
Which of the versions of the Bible are you talking about? There is the book of Esther. Okay. There are other feminine books in the original. Hold on.
Okay, you're correct. You're correct. Can we look at the percentage? Can we look at the percentage? Can we look at the percentage? I have.
Have you heard about
I have. But you can name but a few. How many people can you quickly Google Google has the answer for everything. How many people wrote the book in the Bible? Check it. It could be, like, I don't know. Check the percentage of the women to the men.
And what's the percentage of biblical injunctions oppressing women or enchanting men to do violence?
Fantastic. Fantastic. Now, before we are not going into the writings of the Bible, we are talking about leadership. We are talking about leadership. So for us, we need to, as I said again, apologies house. Apologies. We are moving from the boy child to man versus woman. That is not the intention, but because of the argument's sake, and just to maintain the atmosphere, I allow this. Not that I can't stop it, I can, but I'm allowing this because we will still talk about the boy. You know, one thing we see whenever we are talking about the boys, we remove focus on the boy and talk about the women. We talk about the men. We talk about the this. We talk about everything but the boy child. That is fine tonight because I will still talk about the boy. Like you said, Chris Bond, you have a boy child. I also have a boy child. We have fathers, mothers, fathers, uncles, brothers, sons, a lot of boys around us, and also the male folk. It's so difficult. Chris Bond, you just accepted with me that the Global International Day for the Boy Child was not celebrated because the government or the universe felt that there is something more to talk about than the boy. And as we came here tonight, we were all gingering to talk about the boy. Now the focus is going from the boy to the woman. But that is fine because we must talk about the boy. If not tonight, next week. There is no way IOM family with you, resource person, who have been a family member from the inception. We must focus and channel and look at our boy child. They have not actually gained any light, any people talk about anything but the boy. That is fine. Family, once again, I apologize. On this night, we will go with Chris Bond's argument just to keep us together. Chris Bond, I want to say to you, rather than saying it's the woman, please, because there has been a lot of tussle. Everything, I said it from the beginning, everything is, if you're talking about gender, they look at the woman, and rightly so, if you want to look at it. If you're talking about movement, I started by saying a million movement on the women, the girl child, a lot of movement. They celebrate the girl child, they celebrate the mother, they celebrate women, they celebrate female. Anything to do with womanhood, female folk is celebrated, repeated. Even the mothers, we have two international celebrations, the Catholic and the non-Catholic. They celebrate motherhood. But fathers or boy child or male folk is dwindling. And tonight, we are moving again from the boy to the woman. In as much as we came to talk about the boy, fine. I want to say that tradition, religion, culture, families, schools, government, society have really set up a very high standard for the boy child that is so difficult for him to meet, to such an extent that if he fails to meet it, he is seen as not man enough. We know high percentage of suicide are committed by the boys. attention deficit disorder, mainly by the boys. Crimes, go to our prisons, like you rightly said, is mostly the male folk. Domestic violence, yes, men suffer from it, but majorly women. If we fail to educate our boy child, we will always look at how to protect our girls. However,
Madam Hostess, men, you take a statistic again of how many men that are suffering domestic violence, whose wife beat up, you'll be shocked.
But I said it. No, I said it. Chris Bond, if you listen to me, I said men suffer domestic violence. But Chris Bond, if you want to listen to me, you will realize that the training of be strong, don't ask, don't show weakness, don't cry, you need to dominate. You need to not feel pain. You need to be emotionless. You can be angry. You can be aggressive. You should be superior. All this leads to the fact that men do not speak up when they are being abused.
How do we help the boy child?
Correct.
Who will be the who
Now we are talking. Now we are talking. Because I am very worried when we start to apportion blame. That will only increase the tempo and the struggle rather than solve it. So what to allow our one and only IOM chief professor to come in and rescue the both of us. Thank you. Dr. Temitope, you've been listening. What say you regarding the fact that I and Chris Bond agree that men are very vulnerable? Whilst Chris Bond is trying to look at the reason, which is correct, to say they are trying to impress the woman, whose fault is it? I am looking at the causes, the people that hold these people to such a high expectation that when they fail, they think they are less than a man. Tradition, religion, society, government, schools, families, and what have you. What do we need to do, Professor Temitope, in order to allow our boys to be human rather than man up, shut up, be strong, don't cry? What do we have to do?
In our mind, always in my mind. And my destiny is in my hand. To every member of in our Mind Talk show, you can see the quality of the debate from Los Angel and from Sabond. I've listened to the both party, and I've always believed that in a global space, that's my opinion, everybody is correct. And in such, you must allow everybody to ventilate their opinions. You must have that listening ability. You must be willing to consider all perspectives. And for those of us in the classroom, there is this underlining statement that you must also give room for superior argument. Where there is a superior argument, you can adjust the basis of your understanding. And that's so that we can advance the frontiers of knowledge. It's a privilege to actually, give my own opinion. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reiterate, I'm going to re-emphasize the purpose of tonight's, discussion, which is the boy child. So I looked at the word BOY. To me, it simply means balance, opinion, yields. So for everyone who is listening tonight, we're here to provide you with a balanced opinion that yields. It yields fruit. It provides something advantageous, something that will better the society. If you look at the BOY, the boy, it also means benefits only for you. As you listen tonight, there is something you can benefit from the discussion. As you look at the BOY, it actually means both outputs, yokes. It's a yoke. And both the male and the female, we are yoked in the conversation. Now, let's now try to see if we can make a meaning for what Sir Bond is saying and for what Nurse Angel is saying. Now, let's look specifically. When Sir Bond is saying that most times the man, the boy, wants to impress the female gender, the female. That accounts for some of the, things that places them at disadvantage. Most probably saying, okay, why should you then? The male has accepted, all right, responsible for his action. Rather, why not look at other tradition, religion, the society, the government, the family, and the likes. Now, again, I repeat, the both party have, plus or minus, have contributed to knowledge. I've said something very germane. But again, the time tonight, for me, as a classroom teacher, what I've always advanced is that we should learn a balanced, debate. And actually, I know that Nurse Angel wants to discuss the issue of nature nurture and how it affects the boy child. But in specific, we've got to get something good. Now, in debating in a public space like this, the quality of our discourse is of importance. So please permit me to say that it will not be academically tenable to conclude that for the male child, all or most of his actions and inactions are usually or often induced by the female folks. That will not be just, because how do you explain, okay, to the audience that the women are responsible for all their actions? And like Nurse Angel is saying, what happens to the religious indoctrination? What happens to the traditional infiltration? What happens to societal, push and pull? What happens to families, who have also contributed to some of these things? But let's now look at it this way. It is not to say that some men, all right, permit me to say, majority of the men actually have believed in certain school of thought that says you struggle to satisfy the woman, all right? And like Sabon said, of course, you also even struggle to care for your wife and your children. At those expense, what happens? Are you not going to care for yourself too as a man? These are school of thought. But again, I want to submit. The boy child is essentially a living being. And that is what Nurse Angel is saying. Have that human touch. Do not always think that you should be at the disadvantage. Have that human feeling. So the both of them are now saying, while you are caring for yourself, you have a human feeling. Also treat others the same way. Treat others the way you want them to treat you. So we are all coming to a point, okay, a point of intersection where Nurse Angel is saying, we will to respect the boy child, we will care for the boy child. And Saben is saying, yes, we will all care for the boy child. Let the boy child also care for himself. So tonight, we are saying it's all about the care for the boy child. It's all about the boy child understanding that the world tonight in our Mind Talk show is far beyond what the nation to celebrate you. Tonight we are celebrating the boy child. Hey guys, and in our mind talk show is saying, oops, we will, block the road and, pump the champagne and cut the cakes. So we are celebrating you tonight. You are a hero, the boy child. You are just outstandingly great. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Chris Bond is still on the phone. Chris Bond, I'm happy that Dr. Temitope came in to to separate a fight. It's not a fight. It's more of a strong proposition, and I want to allow you to talk again. First of all, the struggles of the boy. We will be looking at this topic again next week because we've not touched it at all. For me, I was trying to look at the fact that most boys, for instance, part of when you were struggling with the internet, we showed the image of a gun. We said, what do you think about when you see a toy gun? They said boys. We showed a tall baby. They said girls. And most times, when parents go, generally speaking, from the short, small statistics we did with the family, when parents go to buy guns for their boy child, it shows them you have to be hard, you have to be tough, you have to be strong, you can hurt, you can do this, you can fight for yourself, defend the girls, defend everyone. When they go to buy a doll baby for their daughters, they are trying to say, you have to be caring, you have to cry, you should do like this. And it's better that we think that men should be feared than to be loved. And when they commit offense, I saw a family member say, boys will be boys. You see, when a boy, hits a woman and say, you see, boys will be boys. When they go and do anything, most times we say boys have to be boys. Chris Bond, what we are looking tonight is a need for social reform. Is a need for re-educating, redirection for our boys, because it's easier to train a boy child than to repair a broken man. I repeat, it's easier to train a boy child than to repair a broken man. It's easier for us to train a boy child that can be good fathers, good partners, good colleagues, good managers, good leaders, good lovers, good citizens. We are always complaining of our leaders, bad president, bad this. And if you look, we go back to the drawing table. Chris Bond, my question to you is, how can we allow boys to be human? Human beings, you're human first, then your gender and all those things. And, when a boy was born, they all cried. But when we are nurturing them, we ban them from crying. Remember, Chris Bond, when a boy is born, he cries. But when we are nurturing them, we stop them from crying. How can we allow boys to be human first? Chris Bond.
Exactly. Thank you.
Speak up, sir. Speak up, sir. Speak up.
Thank you, Madam Hostess. Can you hear me better now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Thank you, the fans and Pro. We have to begin to teach the boy child differently. We have to begin to groom the boy child differently, because the consequences are severe if we don't.
Thank you.
A broken man is not a well brought up boy child.
Fantastic.
He may have undergone bad upbringing as a child, bad exposure as a teenager, and his entire world is now formed around us. And that's the total package you have in a broken mind. It happens from
Sorry, speak louder, sir.
This will start from the foundation of humanity.
Fantastic.
Can you hear me better now?
Fantastic, yes, sir.
And that foundation is the family.
Fantastic.
The church,
Fantastic.
the schools, the workplace. Show the boys more love. Tell them it is okay for them to cry. Yes, some tears are therapeutic.
Thank you.
Emotions. Teach them that at any point in time, someone somewhere will be richer than you, more educated than you, more handsome than you, and you will also be saved more than other people. We are not all equal. The pressure has to start coming down. Yeah. And the family, the church, the schools, they have cardinal rules to play here so that we can
Oh dear, the network is bad.
To another family somewhere in the future. If you do not train your boy child well, you are endangering the future of my daughter too.
Thank you. Thank you. Super.
So we have to see this as a humanity. Far away, living on excavation. Nobody knows.
Oh, the network is bad.
So the boy child that is not properly raised and properly loved today will be the monster man of tomorrow. A danger to another family and to the society at large. I'll be signing out any moment from now, like I pleaded with you. So my counsel is that we'll begin to put heads together as a family unit, as a social unit in the school, or the churches and the mosques and other social organizations to begin to groom the boy child better. Show them love. Let them know they are free to break down. They are free to show emotions. They are free to cry. Love them when they are broken. Love them when they are broke. Love them too when they are broke. Yeah. Don't tell them they're useless when they're broke.
Thank you.
So that they don't begin to do certain things in order to make money to show you that they are people. No.
Fantastic. Wow. Do you have more to say before you go? Fantastic. Mr. Chris? Honorable Chris. All right. Yes. Honorable Chris, I want to say thank you very much. We'll soon be rounding up. I want to say thank you and allow you because he's a politician. He has a lot of political commitment and political meeting and a whole lot of other things.
I'm not a politician. I'm a trader.
Yes. So we will allow you to go, but you will definitely come back next week for more on the boy child. Is that okay, sir?
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
Fantastic.
Have a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, the family has saying invite to you. Thank you, sir. Fantastic. So I am so happy. I don't know if you heard what he said, Dr. Temitope. Can you hear me? Fantastic. So I'm so happy because most times the boy child is not talked about. When you bring up the issue of the boy, who want to talk about the girl, talk about the woman, talk about the man. That is why boys, the issue concerning the difficulties and vulnerability of the boys have not even been scratched. We have not even gone into it. We are still on the surface. We've not looked in depthly on it. There is something very important Chris Bond said, which I want to reiterate, that the violence against our boy child, the struggles of the boy child. Even, do you know that a lot of boys are raped? You see, we're always talking about girls being raped, women being raped, mothers being raped. Boys are raped, but it's not. And who raped them? Who raped our boys? Respectable politicians, respectable religious leaders, respectable women. I'm not talking about men only. Respectable men, leaders, political leaders, religious leaders, school leaders, school teachers, all the top men in the society abuse and rape the boys. Probably that is why it's difficult to talk about the issues of boys. These boys that we so violate and abuse, and nobody look after them, they grow up to become the like the Honorable Chris said, become the warriors and the abusers we face in the society. By dismantling, when we start to dismantle this barrier, dismantling the barrier of gender inequality by allowing our boys, just like our girls, to show emotion of crying, to be human, to know that they can be weak sometimes. Some of them can be jobless sometimes, and they're still human because they tell you from training, society, religion, all the teaching, they say to you, if you cannot succeed, you're less than a man. You see the man always battling, always struggling to make it in life, no matter what. Yet we are shocked that they are in rituals, they are doing OBT, they are doing Yahoo Yahoo, all these things. We are shocked, yet we are expecting them to do miracle and become billionaires. The societal expectation of our boy child when they become men is so high that the break is either you die or you're successful. Please, Dr. Temitope, how can we start to redirect? How can we start to retrain, change the mindset of the society to say that boys too are human? They are not supposed to either succeed or die. And if they struggle and can't make it, they have another chance. They are not less than men. What do you have to say? So we'll wrap up and close, please.
Thank you very much. I just do desire that Sir Bond also appreciate the fact that our anchor, our host is Nurse Angel. And I just realized that she's the only angel that is a nurse and the only nurse that she's an angel. It's a privilege. And I think I will not be wrong if I also conclude that Nurse Angel, honestly, you're an angel. And an angel provides, ministers and takes care of the humanity. They are just there to be, just there helping us. So thank you for helping us tonight. So tonight we're still helping each other on this platform. In our mind, always in my mind, and my destiny, your destiny is in your hand. And we need to emphasize the fact that your thoughts on daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, yearly mind of Nurse Angel. So considering the national and international benefit of discussing the boy child is the much reason we're looking at those topics tonight. So boy child, please understand, you are highly elated, you are esteemed, you are celebrated tonight. And remember this day, for the fact that you are being celebrated, you've got no excuse not to be positive about yourself and about your society. And what Nurse Angel is asking me to respond to tonight, again, is what do we need to do to actually let the boy child, the male folk, really understand that they are humans, right? Yes, there are societal expectations. So feel like a man as a human being and respond as human when need be. There's nothing wrong shedding tears. Of course, it's nice, it's healthy. Even when there are no problems, you can sing and shed tears. You can smile and shed tears. Relieve the burden. There's what we call the intraocular pressure. All right. There is also the intracranial pressure. So, okay. And Dr. Angel is also saying, what can the society about the need for education, the need for reorientation, the need for national, reintegration, and the diction, that is our dictionary, our vocabulary, and reconstruct certain words that are not healthy, are not bringing out the best out of you. Why not remove them from your dictionary? Healthy words that makes you behave like a human being. All right? You've got no justification like a beast. Act like a beast in action and inaction. All right? Don't be a deviant. There are societal norms, there are social norms, there are legal norms. You have to abide, you have to conform. There is a place of enculturation and acculturation. You just have to conform and not to, in any way, revolt, repel, and then become a rebel. So tonight we appreciate Nurse Angel. We will take the time. We may even want. Can you make a list of words that does move them? Don't speak them. Don't listen to them. Don't allow them to influence. Even said to me, do not allow other people's action and inaction for your negativity. Take that responsibility for your own action, your own thought that is making you to act the way you are acting. Make you to go, there's what they call psychosis and narcosis. Does that make you to be somebody's action is making you to go back? Why not take responsibility? Okay, so tonight, Los Angel loves you, and I also love you. And you, all the admin sincerely love you as a boy child. We celebrate you, guys. Hey, you're doing great, yeah?
Fantastic.
Yeah, tonight, love you.
Fantastic. I'm so happy. Look, IOM family, I'm reading your comments, and some of them are funny. And let me just quickly, because there's a couple I pinned. Ademuyiwa Prince said tonight he said was. To him, tonight is finished. He said tonight was so sweet. I think he likes the debate. That's why I allowed the debate, because I love debate myself. So Chinazam, Dr. Temita, I want you to read what is on the wall. Chinazam said, someone saw my little boy of 2 years crying and asked him to shut his mouth, that he's not a girl, that it's girls that cry. That I looked at the way I looked at him, I know he got the message. You see, That's why I was worried when all the blame had been passed to the women. I'm not saying women don't contribute directly or indirectly. The fact that the society and the poor man, the poor person, say someone, the poor person, whether male or female, that said to a little boy crying to shut up, that he's not a girl. You see how they start to inculcate the spirits, the thoughts or the behavior that a man is not supposed to cry, is a woman that cry, man is strong, woman, all this thing is taught on these little children. And when they grow, they are shocked when they start committing the crimes they do. I don't want us to say it's the woman's fault. Let's look at the root causes and see what to do about it. And also another one I saw, they say even girls do yahoo yahoo now. Now boys teach them. I don't know the meaning of now boys teach them, because I think girls too are smart to do, not that they are smart to do bad, but they too do things that are wrong. I don't know what it means that is the boy that taught them the yahoo yahoo, but I agree that girls too do it. But I was looking more at the highest percentage of people that do it and the reasons why. That is why if you go to these prisons, you see more men lavishing in prison than women. I'm not saying women should go to prison. I'm saying, why is prison another home for our boys? No, it's prison for our husbands, our brothers, our uncles. No, why are men more in prison than women? Because yes, the crime is more on them. Why? We need to go to the grassroots. That is what we'll be doing next week. So I want us to quickly dance, come back and close. Don't go anywhere. You must watch I and Dr. Temitope dance.
That's the crap. Every day by day, I just they celebrate. Everything I do, we just they penetrate. I just want to say, see, I'm living large, I get them just for my ghetto. Never forget where I come from, not from ghetto. Oh, no, 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 no. I just want to say thank you, Jehovah. Oh, yeah. Urekanadi, what you call Father, Father, yeah. Father, Father, yeah. I just want to know, Father, Father, yeah. Father, Father, yeah. You are putting rogun one bello. I call you if I follow one day you must go. See, I come from East, the enter street, brother, you know. If you need I come to East, you already know. If I know now, you know, get my oh, now you may go get to your and I read up about the guess ahead. I saw no balloon to that boy. I came so I'm the front. I'm not the wonder. So we can move on your under. Fire them with the thunder. You wanna go see I come by myself. I'm like, I can go every day by day, I just they celebrate. Everything I do, we just they penetrate. I just want to say thank you. See, I'm living large, I get them just for my ghetto. Never forget where I come from, not from ghetto. Oh, no, 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 no. I just want to say thank you. What you call Father, 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 I just want to know Father, 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 I go I travel, go. Now I the jet to remain for me, Mama, you know. believe it, but I never tell you go. You know easy to get you, you don't know how to live. I don't because the God you know you be to me. Since I lost my daddy, now you don't want to me. I said, God, I did the best one to who they are to me. You right about now, all the chickens, you come to me. I can't see your back on the chamber. I can't shower. I can't stand the last me and my guys can take shower. Oh, yeah, walele, every day by day, I just dey celebrate. Oh. Everything I do, we just dey penetrate. Oh. I just want to say, see, I'm living like I get them just from my ghetto. Never forget where I come from, not from ghetto. Oh, no, 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 no. I just want to say, thank you. Where can I be? What you call Father, 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 I need them to do that.
It doesn't say. I hope I won you tonight, man, in the dancing.
Let me see what the family members are saying. Oh, listen, Dr. Temitope, honestly, you danced well today. Honestly speaking, private jet on the way to Mama. I agree, Ilausu, you are on the way to me because you're doing well. Yes, so we need to go. Before we go, once again, IOM family, I want to say to you all, on this week of of the boy child, I want each and every IOM family members to commit to doing something. This is because whether male or female, it's not about the men. It's about the boy child. It's about our boy child. Yes, how we can raise them to be good men. However, we all need, male and female, we all have access to a boy. Family, I believe that all of us here, you and I, Professor Temitope, each and every one of us, including the admin, we all have access to a boy. At least one boy, if not many. But let's commit to doing something, no matter how small, to create a society of good boys, good men, and good living. One boy at a time. Yes, one boy at a time. Where the boys, our sons feel heard. Our sons feel we are listening to them. You see, most times we see men, they don't talk to their wives. You see wives, they don't talk to the men. You see, where men feel, I have to be in charge. I have to be the breadwinner. I have to be the leader. I have to be. Not minding what is the current societal status. Sometimes it's the women that are the breadwinners because they are the ones working. That doesn't make you less than a man. But the training given is that if you don't provide for your house, you are better dead. No, you are not. IOM family, can we make it our responsibility tonight to choose one boy? One, if you choose more than one, wonderful. Retrain them. Teach them that you don't need to feel less than a man. If you're unable to do anything, you can cry, show emotion, talk to people. You don't hold up things. Don't carry things in your mind because you see a lot of men struggling. When you ask them, they are stammering because they've been told they are not allowed to speak up. If you speak up and share your worries, you're less than a man. IOM family, can we please a boy child, please, can we commit to one boy at a time? Ensure that this boy does not go into abuse substance. I have 2 boys. I've done all, is a battle. Here abroad, I don't know about Nigeria, is a battle between I and the society. Yes. The society will tell you, if you don't drink alcohol, you're not a man. Yes. The society will say, if you don't smoke substance, you're not in the gang. Yes. So it's a battle which I committed. Is either I lose to the society or the society takes my son. I have 2 sons. So it was a battle. The first time I checked, when I noticed the society was taking my son, I checked, one of them had weed in the urine because I have all the equipment to check. What did I do? It was a monthly check. And after all we went through, since then it's more than 5 years. It's more than 5 years, they are all clean. I'm not saying they will be clean forever. It's constant battle. I need you to know it's constant battle. It's constant battle. We check them monthly. We call, we find out, we do this. They're all going, they're growing. It's constant battle. Commit to saving one child, one boy child, because we can't have our boys in the prison. How do they start? They start with substance abuse. From substance abuse, over drinking, then crime knife. They start taking knife. Because if you have to abuse substance, if you have to be in the streets, you need to go with a knife to protect yourself. They start by being stopped by the police. They start by being arrested for holding a gun, holding a knife. They start by seeing themselves in the prison. Is one boy in prison and another and another. IOM family, I'm calling on you, men and women, boys and men and women, not just the men. Can we save a boy child? Even if it's our sons, okay? Because sometimes, Professor, parents don't have time for their boys. And again, I want to ask fathers, what are you doing with your son? Are you leaving them to be trained by the mothers? What is your involvement, fathers, with your sons? Opt it. I'm calling on both men and women, but I'm asking fathers, what are you doing with your sons as well? Can we save a boy from the society? The societal expectation of our sons are the reasons why most of our boys, our male folk, are in prison today. Can we change the mindset? Professor, as usual, I want you to end. I want you to end the talk show. Family, we will definitely be talking about the boy. We took a lot of time to argue about the girl, which is what we always do. But next week, it will be the boy and the boy only. How we rescue our boys. Professor, can we close and go, please? Thank you.
Yes, in our mind, all IOM in talk show. My destiny is, so either you like it or not, Nurse Angel, she's part of our daily vocabulary. So we sing our praises all the time. And to celebrate the boy child. Feel for the boy, advance the cause of the boy child. Do all that you can and resources to ensure that the world becomes a better place for the boy. Happy night rest. Au revoir, bonne nuit.
We will go. I want to read out this. Oluwafemi said, noted, ma. Operation Rescue the Boy Child. Thank you. And I want you to add to this operation What about the boy? What about the boy? Operation Rescue the Boy Child. What about the boy? Operation Rescue the Boy Child. Thank you very much. See you next week. Bye-bye. Bye.